Hello and welcome to another episode of Bhavya's Unsolicited Opinion. So, in today's episode, I decided to talk about jealousy. Now, this is a very personal topic and also something that I feel has not been covered by most public speakers. It is not covered in mental health topics. There is a lot of conversation around how to keep yourself healthy mentally, but I think we often skip things related to jealousy and ego. So, I wanted to discuss that in today's episode. This is going to be a very short and sweet episode because it's just me talking. So, bear with me. I'd like to issue a disclaimer that anything said in the episode is purely my own opinion, and I do not mean to hurt or offend any community or individual. I am a very jealous person by nature, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have faced it too. So I feel there are three types of jealousy. The first kind is the kind that usually comes up in relationships. So this is the kind of jealousy that you might experience when you are with your partner. It can be your boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, anybody who you are in a romantic relationship with. Or it could be your sibling who you think is getting more love than you are from your parents. It could be that kind of a jealousy, or it could be a jealousy that comes up in a friend circle when there are like 5 6 people in a group, and maybe 2 3 are closer to each other than they are to you. So that also results in a form of jealousy, and all of these are the kind of jealousies that I characterize inside jealousy, which comes from relationships. The second kind of jealousy is materialistic jealousy, which is basically when you want to obtain an object or a material substance, and someone else has it, and you are jealous of that person because he or she owns it. So you want to obtain something. That's the second kind of jealousy. The third kind I feel is it stems from the competition and the competitive environment that we are in. So this third kind of jealousy is a direct result of the competition that you are in, and especially if you are an Indian and you have been brought up in a very Indian atmosphere, you must have noticed this kind of jealousy right from the start. From when we are toddlers, we are put into a competitive environment where we have to always score well academically. We have to be good at extracurricular activities. Then 10th and 12th comes up, we have to give boards. There are competitive exams like JEE, NEET, even the DU admission system, and all of this puts constant pressure to be the best, which can often result in feeling negatively about a certain achievement of someone else's because you aren't doing as well. So yeah, that's the third kind of jealousy, which stems out of competition. I have dealt with all the three kinds of jealousies in the 19 years that I've been alive, and for me, the first and the third kind have been more prominent in nature. They've been the driving forces for a lot of things that I have done, good and bad. And over the years, I have tried to, especially in the last 2 3 years, I have learned to kind of work with the jealousy and to make it positive instead of it having a negative impact in my life. So I decided that today we could like discuss that very briefly. So the first kind of jealousy that I talked about was the jealousy that stems in a relationship. So the jealousy that you will experience in a relationship, it will be because of two reasons. One is because you have insecurities, and the second one is because of lack of communication. So with insecurities, the thing is that it depends on the kind of relationship that we are talking about. So for example, if we are talking about a relationship where partners are involved, then in that kind of a relationship there could be two reasons for insecurities. The first reason is that you haven't proven to be a very reliable partner. You have not given enough reason to your partner to believe that you can be trusted, and therefore at any interaction that you have with an outsider, with someone who is not your partner will feel jealous or insecure. And that is a kind of problem that can only be sorted if you try to be more reliable and try to be more trustworthy in that relationship, if you try to prove your worth, and also if you try to be more open and communicative with your partner. So that kind of jealousy is purely from a result of your actions, or maybe the actions of your partner, and it can only be sorted if you guys figure that out. The second kind of insecurity could be because of a previous relationship where either of you have experienced something that makes you distrust relationships, something that has put the fear of cheating or something of that sort in your mind. So now every time someone else interacts with your partner, you feel insecure. So in such a situation, time is the best healer, I believe. So give them time, and give the relationship time to reach a stage where both of you can trust each other completely. And once that trust is established, then it'll be easier for the jealousy to ebb away. Another reason for jealousy in relationships could be the lack of communication, where the two of you are not talking to each other all that much, or there is not enough communication about what you are doing, where you are, just very basic things. If you are feeling jealous when it comes to your siblings, and the bond in your family, then honestly, I do not have enough experience to say this, but from what I have understood and noticed, parents love us all equally. So if you as a sibling are feeling underloved, or if you feel that your parents aren't as proud of you as they are of your maybe brother or sister, the only thing to do about it is to go talk to them about it, to tell them that you feel a little underloved, or you'd like if they could maybe interact with you more, or if they could spend more time with you, if they could give you more love, if they could tell you verbally how proud they are of you, because some of us really need all that verbal encouragement to keep going. So you can do that. So that is a very, very good way to sort this out, because most of the times when we're feeling jealous of people in our immediate family, it's not really that big an issue, as we have created in our own minds. So the best way to sort that is to talk it out. Now when it comes to friend groups, so this is something that I have personally experienced, that because you don't have it, it usually happens this way, where you do not have a lot of friends for a very long while. So when you do get friends, you become very possessive of them, and you want to keep them close, and you are scared that if someone new comes into their life, um, they will just go away. So in such a situation, what you do is you start reacting very jealously every time they interact with someone new, they find a new friend, they get someone new enters your group, you will immediately have a very negative reaction to it. And it is very natural, and it is also especially visible in people who have not had friends for most part of their life. So in such a situation, the best thing to do is to tell your friends that you feel insecure, and that I know it's not the easiest thing to do, I have never done it personally, but also this is also something, this kind of jealousy is something that you will have to mostly battle alone, because your family can be very understanding, your partners can be very understanding, but sometimes with friends you will not get that. With the closest of friends you might, but with friends who maintain a little bit of distance from you, it'll be a little difficult to make them understand this. So in such a situation, you have to be the one taking care of your mind, of how you think of things, how you think of the people they are interacting with, and you will have to curb all the negative feelings you have inside of you. There is no one way to go about this, everybody has different processes. What I do is just sometimes I have very negative thoughts, and I beat myself up for it, and I kind of think how bad a person I am. But then also, I because I have consciously realized that they are not good thoughts to have, that they are negative in nature, I can put a stop to them, and then I can start to think about other things, or to not mull over it for very long. So that's a good way to go about it, to realize, to internalize, and then to act on a certain thing, to act on a positive feeling instead of a negative one. So that is something you can do with jealousy that comes up in friendships. The second type of jealousy we talked about is the jealousy that comes with material objects. And honestly, this is the kind of jealousy that you can't do a lot about, because it's about material things that you can't talk to, you can't communicate with. There is no insecurity here. There is only a want of things. And with want, you can do a very good thing about this is to channel it into a goal. So, say you want a car and you're really jealous of the person who does own it. You can do two things. The first thing that you would do is, normally you would do is, oh my god, why does he have that car? Like, does he even deserve it? Or maybe his parents gave it to him, he's filthy rich and he didn't even do anything to earn that car, only his parents are rich is why he has it. So that is the kind of thing you'll think, and then you'll probably end up thinking he doesn't deserve that. So that's the first way to go about it. And in such a situation, what you're doing is basically making yourself happier by thinking that that other person just got it by fluke and doesn't deserve it, which is something people mostly do. The other way to go about this is to realize that you want that thing and right now you do not have it and you'd like to have it in the future. So the best way to get it in the future is to earn enough to buy that car. So what you can do instead is to channelize all that jealousy into something productive, like maybe being the best at whatever you do and then earning enough money to buy that car all by yourself. So that's the other way to deal about it and deal with it, and I think that is obviously the best way to do that. And again, this is a very optimistic picture. You do not always have to think optimistically or be good and right. It's okay to be human sometimes, but this is something that you can consciously do. So if you're trying to make a conscious effort to curb any negative feelings, then this is what you can do. The third kind of jealousy we talked about is the jealousy that stems out of competition. Now this is personally the most difficult kind of jealousy to deal with, in my opinion, because you competition is something you can never do anything about, especially in India. You have to live with competition, and after some point the jealousy is even healthy. It is something that you can battle, and everybody will have a different process to deal with it. One thing that you can do is, and I know this sounds very generic and overused, but honestly, you have to realize at some point that you are unique, that your skill set or what you have to offer to maybe an organization, academia, a company, or a university is something only you will have to offer, no matter what. Like an essay you write is something only you can write. Maybe other people can write about the same thing, but they will never be able to write it exactly as you do. So it's the same with the kind of work you do. And maybe if someone's getting a job that you have been wanting to get for a very, very long time, but you didn't get it, and you're jealous about it because you worked really hard for it, maybe that job wasn't meant for you, and the people who were interviewing you and that other guy realized that, so they chose the other guy. And maybe this is your opportunity to look for something that is more in your zone. So that's one way to go about it. Also, because we've already talked about competition, I'd like to talk about the competitive exams we have, especially for kids who are in 11th and 12th and taken a drop year, or who are maybe preparing to get into a university. uh Honestly, very, very honestly, universities and colleges are not the end of the world. They absolutely are not. I used to be the same, where I used to think that the best university getting into the best university is basically the best life, but that isn't how it works. Actually, I've seen so many people who are in the most amazing universities who aren't doing very well academically or extracurricular wise, and therefore they do not get good jobs. And then there are people who are in decent universities, or who are in universities that aren't very well known, and they're topping there because the good ones always come out. So they're topping there, and then they get these amazing offers. They have an amazing CV and they get amazing offers. So honestly, a lot of things impact your future, not just the college you go to. So do not get disheartened if you're not doing well there. Do not get disheartened or jealous if someone else is getting a college that you wanted and worked for really, really hard. Because it's honestly not the end of the world. These days, CVs are all that matter. So you have 3 to 4 years to work on that and make it beautiful and spectacular and get the dream job you have always wanted. And yeah, I think I have droned on for quite some time here, and I have talked about jealousy in a lot of detail. I think we should end the episode here because it's kind of stretched out a lot. But I want to say one last thing before I end this episode, and this is about friends again. Friends and jealousy. So I have realized that sometimes the people who are closest to you are the ones who do not want you to excel. So they can be your friends or your distant family, your extended family, and these people, they will kind of cheer you on, but internally they want you to fail. They want to they're waiting for you to misstep or make that one small error which will, which will destroy things, and they're waiting for you to fail. And these people, they will keep saying that they're there for you, or they'll keep saying that they want to see you grow. But when you actually start doing something that's nice or good, when you actually start making things, or when you actually start achieving what you have always wanted to achieve, they will vanish. They won't exist anymore, in the sense that there will be no more texts, no more calls, no more you can do this, none of that. And it's always important that you beware of such people in life. And I'm not saying cut yourself off from such people completely. That's absolutely not a good option, because you never know what kind of support you might need in life. But always be aware of such people, and also never let what they're saying get to you. So if ever they have something negative to say, some extra opinion to give, and some extra advice to give, you can listen to them, but filter it out and keep only the positives and delete the negatives. You do not need the negativity in your life. So I think that's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed. I hope this episode wasn't too boring, because it's a very generic topic, but it's also a very important topic, and also something that I feel genuinely needs representation when we're talking about mental health. It genuinely needs conversation around. So that's it from my side. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Lots of love to you guys. Bye bye.